Yo, what is up guys, and welcome to InfernoKun here with another video regarding Tales from the Borderlands. So, for the most part, this will be about an article that came out a couple days ago about Tales from the people over at Campo Santo. You know, some of them actually worked at Telltale. They went ahead and went to Campo Santo, and some other people that were in the interview, you know, left and things like that. But we'll go ahead and go into what they said about Tales from the Borderlands, because it is very concerning and sad to hear. So, pretty much, this is an oral history of Tales from the Borderlands. Basically, the development of it, you know, what they've been through while developing it, and things they thought about, you know, going through the season and the aftermath of the season as well. So, I got a few points to go ahead and search through that I want to go ahead and talk about in this video regarding the sales of Tales from the Borderlands, which can be pretty much concerning regarding a sequel. You know, kind of concerning a little bit. But anyways, go ahead and look at what Nick Herman said. I'm going to go ahead and search. You guys can see on my screen here. First one we have here is what Nick Herman said. He was the director of the season, I believe. Yeah, Nick Herman, he was the season director and the director for episodes 1 and 5. So that's pretty much it. Let's go back down to where we were. So here is what he says. He says, at that point, the sales for Tales from the Borderlands weren't great. They were decent. It's not like we were losing money, but compared to something like The Walking Dead, it wasn't on the same level. So now, here's how I think, okay? If you compare something to The Walking Dead, which pretty much made your company, okay? Walking Dead Season 1 was a critical hit, winning Game of the Year. When you compare something like that to The Walking Dead, of course it's not going to be that much. You know, people love The Walking Dead. It has its own comic series, its own TV shows. It has a bunch of things about it. So obviously, it's not going to be on the same level as Borderlands. Borderlands 2 was critically acclaimed as well. It won Game of the Year in 2012 as well. Like a Shooter of the Year, I mean. It won Shooter of the Year in 2012. So obviously, you know, it's not going to be on the same level as, you know, The Walking Dead. It just holds a household brand, you know. The Walking Dead, you know, the TV show was insanely popular. The comic series is popular. It has all kinds of things revolving it. So, obviously, when you compare Borderlands to Walking Dead, it isn't going to be on the same level, you know, in terms of just how hype, okay? So, then he says, the mentality was, we've got to wrap the season up quick, because we need to move on to other things. We were holding on to staff and it didn't. I couldn't let go and let the season just end either abruptly or not pay off the things we were setting up. So it seems like at the tail end they were kind of rushing through the season, which, you know, I didn't really notice, because I think Tales from the Borderlands is the best Telltale game there is. You know, he says over here, right here, at this point, he says, after the first week or so, the adrenaline wore off. So after the week, they launched the final episode 5. He said the adrenaline wore off, and he realized I had no clue what came next. I really hadn't thought what happened after Borderlands, and as I looked at what was on the horizon, I had a hard time getting excited for the next thing. Tales was my life for 2 years, and internally, it was perceived a failure. Critically, it was a huge success, but from a sales and production standpoint, it wasn't awesome. So right here, he says that internally, it was perceived as a failure due to it not having, you know, the sales they met. Obviously, they made their money back. They didn't really lose money from it, but it didn't reach the millions and millions of copies like The Walking Dead Season 1 or Season 2. And they also said that critically, like, you know, review-wise, if you go ahead and look on here, on Steam at least, on Steam, I'm running for Steam. You can look on Metacritic as well, and IGN, GameSpot, stuff like that. But on Steam, right here, you see on the right, it says overwhelmingly positive, with 95% of the reviews on Steam being positive. So, overwhelmingly positive is probably the best review, a top review on Steam. So, Tales from the Borderlands was top tier reviewed on Steam. You look at other games from Telltale, like, of course, let's see what we got here, The Walking Dead Season 1, or Season 2. Season 1, it was, or it is overwhelmingly positive and stuff like that, with 96% of it being positive. And then Walking Dead Season 2 was positive as well, depending on how you thought about that, because, you know, there were some kind of criticisms regarding The Walking Dead Season 2, but hey, it did review pretty good on Steam, and from what I've seen from Metacritic, and there were some different review scores for IGN and stuff like that. So then we have Game of Thrones, which has a 77% review score. So basically, if you look on other review sites, Tales from the Borderlands reviewed better than Game of Thrones, but I guarantee you Game of Thrones sold more than Tales from the Borderlands, because Game of Thrones is a huge IP. Game of Thrones TV show, HBO's Game of Thrones, definitely is a top tier TV show that is insanely popular, probably the best TV show on TV right now. Then we have Wolf Among Us right here, overwhelmingly positive with a 97% review score. And Guardians of the Galaxy right now holds 91%, but you can see that they have around 602 review scores. So obviously the sales haven't picked up on that yet, and that's because the whole season isn't out yet. Then we have Batman, of course, episode 1 is out, already holding a 94% positive rating, but of course the sales aren't really up there yet as of right now, with only one episode being out. So whenever like the whole season comes out or something, it picks up in sales and stuff like that. Minecraft Story Mode currently has a 75% review score. And if you look on IGN, GameSpot, stuff like that, Metacritic, it had an average review score, okay? It wasn't really reviewed too well, but I guarantee you Minecraft Story Mode Season 1 sold greatly. And I can tell you why, because they went ahead and made an adventure pass, 3 extra episodes, and a whole new Season 2. So definitely Minecraft sold well, but it wasn't critically reviewed, like awesomely, wasn't critically acclaimed as something awesome or anything. So, looking at that, you can see what Telltale kind of just does here. If it doesn't sell well, then it's not really good, okay? But if it doesn't review well, but it sells well, yeah, we'll make more episodes for it. And thinking about that is, of course, with Batman Season 1 right here, it was, of course, this was the PC version, and I heard there were some problems on console as well, so it didn't really review too high. But I guarantee you, since it has the Batman name, it definitely sold well from that aspect. So you can see just by looking at review scores for their games and the sequels they announced, you could tell which games are a success. Wolf Among Us, definitely they announced Season 2, so that one definitely was a success. It had critically acclaimed, and it definitely sold well. So, okay, here we have more things from Nick Herman said. About halfway through, we made a deal with the studio that if they let us go on, we would have to give up like 95% of our staff, as long as they let us maintain a skeleton crew. We had at least one person from every department working on the game, but that's a very small team for an episode. At a certain point, I think even Pierre had to be pulled off. So they basically pulled off staff from Tales from the Borderlands because it wasn't selling well. So it wasn't really worth it to have these employers working on a game that's not really selling too well when they could be working on other games that are selling well. So it's kind of sad, actually. It's kind of very sad. Obviously Telltale is a business. They have to make money, even though they're swimming in it right now. But I don't know. I took business classes, but I'm not really, I don't know the structure of Telltale, so I can't really say too much about what I think, because I don't know personally. But at this point, it just seems like, things weren't really going too well within the company to support Tales from the Borderlands. And Tales from the Borderlands wasn't really supporting itself with the sales amount, which is sad, because Tales from the Borderlands might not be getting a sequel because of this, because Season 1 didn't sell well. And I can say one thing, and I can say Telltale took a risk with making Tales from the Borderlands because it wasn't really traditionally how it should have been. Borderlands is a FPS shooter, while Tales is a point-and-click adventure game. So it's definitely really different and going for a different audience as well. So what do you guys think about this whole report about Tales not selling well, but it did critically get reviewed as a really, really good game? Hell, it even made the list for Game of the Year 2014, I believe? Yeah, 2014, right? Yeah, 2014. It made the list of Game of the Year for 2014. but it didn't sell well, which is crazy. And due to this, it might not be getting a season 2, but there was talk about how the people that worked on Tales, they actually wanted to, build up Fiona and Rhys to be added into Borderlands 3. So basically, it is an increased possibility that Rhys and Fiona could be in Borderlands 3. So, sad stuff. I'm very sad because Tales from the Borderlands is my number one. It's number one on my list of Telltale's games, and it's sad to hear that it didn't sell as well as they hoped. I'm pretty sure it sold pretty good, but it didn't sell like they hoped, which I'm not sure if they're asking too much or what, because I'm pretty sure it broke like 1 million. That's not bad. I don't know. We don't have the official numbers or anything, but I'm pretty sure it's so good, but it didn't meet expectations, and then it was perceived as a failure within the studio. So what do you guys think about all of this? Comment down below and tell me what you guys think about Tales and it not selling well and it being reviewed critically well. Comment down below all of that and subscribe for more Telltale content on the channel. I'm InfernoKun, and I'll catch you guys next time. I'm out.